Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hero Tongues podcast. My name is Bart.
My name's Adam. I'm a native speaker, believe it or not, and also a ESL and TEFL teacher, empowering people to gain knowledge, learning English, and further their potential in life by having a second language to speak.
Yeah, I'm not native speaker, believe me or not.
You're a native Polish speaker.
Yeah.
So he's still
not native English.
He has a voice. He's real. He's not a sim. He's not AI.
Yes.
I've not just created him. He's a real person. It's a real shirt. It's a real shirt. It's a real shirt.
Exactly. So Today we will talk about people's habits.
People's habits. So particularly English people's habits. In just my opinion, it could be a warped view. I don't know, but it's my opinion on English people because I'm English, and it's going to be Bart's view on
Polish people.
So, and it's just our view. There's nothing derogatory to this, and it's just our view on what we see as native people, basically. So we'll do a bit of a comparison. So I think this isn't pre-arranged, or we haven't learned this before we've done it. So I think you can do one, and I'll do one.
Okay.
I think that'll be a good way of doing it.
Okay.
And these are just unusual habits, nothing particular, just unusual habits.
Okay, I have the list in my laptop, so I'll take a look in some time.
Yeah, we've made a list.
I will start with trash under the sink. This is the...
So in Poland, in Polish English translation, you will call it the trash bin, but we in England just call it the bin. So we refer to
trash can is called what?
Trash can is like Americanized English, but I think when you do translate it in Polish to English via different online resources and dictionaries, it comes back as trash. Yeah, but we say bin, you say trash. So tell me about this then. What is it?
Yes. So regarding the trash, Polish people always have trash under the sink, and it is kind of the normal. If you want to drop something to the trash, you know where exactly you need to go to every kitchen.
It's
in
universal.
Every house
it's universal.
Poland, yeah.
So you just go under the sink and there's always a bin there.
Exactly.
We don't have that system. We have a separate place for our trash or for our bin location. And sometimes when my friends come and my dad's friends come, it can be very confusing for them, and they always ask, where's the trash can, where's the bin? And they don't believe that it's not under the sink, so that can be a strange one.
Yeah.
One of mine is this. I've got lots of different ones like you have. English breakfast, the standard English breakfast.
Bacon, egg, something like this.
So go on, would you know what it is, roughly?
Bacon, egg, and some bread.
Yeah, what else?
What else?
A traditional. Oh, it's a huge breakfast. Come on, Bart.
Bacon, I said? No.
Bacon, you said bacon.
I said bacon.
Beans.
Beans? I didn't
Beans.
know.
Heinz beans. Usually Heinz beans. There's other brands available. Heinz beans. So bacon, beans, bread, whether that's fried or whether that's just normal toasted or whether it's toasted bread. So
but what for drink?
It can be orange juice.
Orange juice.
Some sort of fruit juice, but it's typically orange juice with a cup of tea or coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get sausages, hash browns. Then you get tomatoes, grilled tomatoes. Then you get mushrooms. And sometimes there's also, if you're really lucky, but unlucky for me because I don't like them, black pudding.
Pudding, huh?
Do you know what black pudding
Yes.
is? Yeah. So
it's budyń in Polish.
it's Buddha. And how do they make it? What is black pudding in a breakfast?
No idea how to do it.
It's pig's blood.
Pig's blood?
Pig's blood.
Okay, so that's
So
not
it's cooked pig's blood in a disc like this. So I don't.
So in Polish it's kaszanka, I guess.
Something like that. Yeah. So like a pig's inside blood. It's not my cup of tea. You would say it's not my cup of tea. But I tend to opt for extra beans or mushrooms for this kind of thing. I'll start with the second one, and then you can contrast me if you want that. So what I've found a lot of English people do is it's not connected to food. They like small talk with strangers.
So Polish people don't.
Yeah, I've noticed it from living here. But so you're sat on the bus, and maybe some older lady or older gentleman will sit next to you on the bus and say, "Oh, hello, love. How are you today?" Or "How are you doing, dear?" Or "How are you doing, love?" It's a hot day, isn't it? And it usually revolves this breaking the ice, small conversation with strangers about the weather or current affairs. Like, "Oh, it's a hot day. something like this. And it's just a small, you say, oh yes, it is, yeah. And then you don't talk again. But it's like kind of an invite to chat, but you don't have to pursue it if you want. So that's an English thing.
And if you don't pursue it, is it like unpolite or?
Sometimes, it depends what someone says to you. If it's some really nice old person and they just say, oh, do you mind if I sit next to you? You can say no. But then you've opened up. You can say no. You can say, yes, you smell really bad. Well, no, you wouldn't say that. You'd say, yes, that's it. You have my seat. That's also a way to get out of the situation. You say, yes, of course, have my seat. And then you can leave and go to another location. Or you say, yeah, no problem. But then you've opened up a can of worms, you would say. You've opened up a can of worms, which means a stream of contact, a stream of communication. So then they can say, oh, it's nice weather today, isn't it? Because then they think you're a friend then. They think you're a friend. And then you start to have a chat. But it can be nice sometimes, and it breaks the ice.
Yeah, I have my second one. It's similar to the example which you mentioned, but it's total opposite. I mean that Polish people love to complain.
Yeah.
And that's kind of natural. You can have a lot of friends if you are complaining in Poland.
You can have a lot of friends. Yeah. What do they complain about though?
About everything. Weather is shitty, that car is this, politics.
Do you know one of the biggest things here is Polish, obviously, a super religious country. Everyone goes, not everyone, but a lot of people go to church and stuff. We always have a joke, me and my dad and some of my family members, because a lot of people choose not to go inside the church. They choose to stand outside the church in all weathers. Like we're talking in November, December, January, when it's -5 or -10, and people are stood outside the church, on their knees, which is totally fine. That's a religion, that's up to them. But it's cold, and there's space inside the church. But what we talk about is how they like to complain. People talk about other people not being at church. They say, yes, we didn't see Barbara today, we didn't see Kevin today. So they like to dish the dirt, you would say, on, yeah, but where were you? You weren't at church this week. And it tends to be older people. They like to talk about other people not being at church. And I just think it's like one of the Polish things that they do. It's quite funny.
It is.
They like dish the dirt, you would
But
say.
complaining is like main thing.
It's like putting sugar in your tea. It's just one of those things that you do. It's a habit, isn't it? It's a habit, and that's what we're talking about. So you can go first. You can go first this time.
So doing barbecues is also really popular in Poland. When it's becoming hot.
With the Polish flag flying outside the house as well, so they go to the attic to dust the dust off the flag, to put the flag outside of the house. It's very nice, though. It's very traditional, I suppose. So, what happens at these barbecues? What do you normally do? So, gather all around the barbecue.
Yeah, sitting in the garden, making sausages.
Yeah, drinking a beer, having a barbecue.
Yeah,
it's a typical thing. All the family comes around. You've got the dog.
Exactly. It's nothing special, just barbecue.
And what days do you do it on? There's some Constitution Day is a big one.
Yes, where is the long weekend in May?
Long weekend.
Because you have 3.
That's just happened actually. That's just happened recently.
Yes, recently, and every hot weekend, I would say.
Yeah, anytime there's hot weather in Poland, because it's cold a lot here. Actually, a lot of the year it can be quite cold. So
half of the year is cold.
Yeah, half of it is grey, no light. Everyone's pale. It's that kind of a country. It's very seasonal. It's hot in summer and cold in winter. What's interesting in England as well, another one I wanted to talk about was afternoon tea. And I think that'll be a new concept for you. I'm guessing.
I've heard about it, but...
Tell me about it, what you know.
It's like...
Specific
thing, and when you have a tea break is the most important thing of the day. You are losing everything what you are doing, you are going to the tea.
Sort of, but afternoon tea isn't just tea. This is where you're getting confused. Afternoon tea is where you go to a special place, normally a cafe, hotel, or a set restaurant where they provide this service, or someone's house. But nowadays, people don't go out of their way, you would say, or put themselves out, that's another idiom, to have this kind of service. So the people usually go out for this, and you pay normally £20 to £30 each for this. What happens is you have different layers. So somebody brings out this thing, they're holding a thing like this, and it's a metallic object. I knew you wouldn't know this. So it's got 3 or 4 different layers to this thing. and then they put it on the table like this, and it's probably like half a metre or a bit less tall. On the top, you have lots of called finger cakes. They're called finger cakes. They're probably like the size of your thumb. Small, miniature little confectionery cakes, maybe 5 or 6 of these. On the layer below, you have small sandwiches, salmon, tuna, cucumber. There's lots of different sandwich types. And on the bottom, you have scones. Do you know what a scone is? A scone or a scone. A scone or a scone is like, it's almost like a biscuit and a cake together, and it's very traditional British. And you can have different fillings in these scones. It's like a cake, but it's not quite a cake, it's a biscuit. And they're a bit bigger. So you've got tiers, you would call them tiers to the thing. And you have a pot of tea with it. And that whole thing is classed as afternoon tea.
Oh.
That's why it's not just a tea.
So
it's
you expanded a little bit my point of view.
It's much more than, it's a proper thing. Like it's been going for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years in England.
Wow.
It's called afternoon tea.
And it is like particular special hour.
I'd go with my mum on Mother's Day. So we'd go to a nice hotel and we'd have afternoon tea.
Okay.
And maybe like some rooftop view of Manchester or Liverpool, and we'd go to Hilton Hotel for afternoon tea. And you pay like £20 each, or I pay because it's a gift. And then we go and and then we go some shopping, and it's a nice time to spend. But I wouldn't go with my dad, for example. We'd go go-kart, we'd go something like for Father's Day. But yeah, afternoon tea. So I'll try another one. This is a bit of a random direction again.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say drinking alcohol.
Okay.
It's popular in Poland, but I would say that people are drinking less than 10 years ago.
And smoking less as well.
And smoking less as well, yeah. But it's still popular. I think that because of the fact that it's easier to buy an alcohol instead of, for example, healthy food in Poland. Because in any corner there is some small shops when you can go and buy something to drink.
I think it's a cultural thing, though. I think it's a cultural thing because Poland has caught up to most of the European Union faster than all the other countries combined. The economy in Poland is booming, and like the way the country's catching up, it's like everybody's on a normal road and Poland's on the motorway. It's making fast progress, very fast. But culturally, these shops are still run by some of these older people and older family, because it's very family orientated Poland.
Not exactly. I would say
where you can buy the beer, I'm saying, on the corner. But I'm saying, you come back in 15, 20 years, a lot of them shops they'll be there, but they'll change what they sell a little bit. When would it have been normal to buy alcoholic-free alcohol in Poland 10, 15 years ago? People would have laughed at that concept. Yeah. Whereas now, people go to the barbecues and they drive there and they drive home.
Yeah.
And weddings used to last 2 to 3 days. Now it's an afternoon or an evening. People don't get slaughtered on the alcohol the same. They used to do it in the villages for years. It took days to do a wedding. So alcohol's not as much of an important, having a vodka whilst you mow the lawn. My dad, just to digress, my dad's Polish, and what he used to do is, there's the fields in the village that he used to grow up in, and they would like cut the grass, and he'd only be like 10 or 11 years old, and the guy that was making him like cut the grass with the scythe, and then they bundle them all together and tie them all, and then they throw them onto the thing, and they're covered in mosquitoes and they're working really hard. That's what my dad used to do in the summer holidays. He'd give my dad at 10 and 11 a glass of vodka during the work shift. It's very normal. He'd have vodka or drink at the table when they have the evening meal. You wouldn't give a 10-year-old vodka now. But back then, in the village, it was dead normal. So I think Poland's attachment to alcohol is changing hugely.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
It is.
Next one. Random thing. Pet names. Pet names. So names that people give to their pets. I'm not sure how it works in Poland, because I know in last 10 to 15 years, people have more dogs as pets as opposed to like a utility dog. Most people have dogs, I'd say 15, 20 years ago in Poland, to guard their land, to big dogs. People were quite afraid of dogs. They would walk around and they'd have a job. They'd stay outside, they'd bark, they'd have them as a bit of a free protection of their house, and they feed them. it's not as much of a family pet. Whereas now there's more different breeds of dogs, especially in the centres. These small handbag dogs, you would say, and they have the clothes, the jackets, and they've got names. But the dogs back 15, 20 years ago that lived outside wouldn't have had names. But in England, people have had pets and names and clothes for their dogs for many, many years.
Yeah, but I mean, we are giving names to pets, but we are don't giving the people names to pets.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. So what I'm trying to say is in England, there's something called personification.
Yeah.
So you personify this animal as being like part of the family. It's like just like your brother, just like your sister. Whereas in Poland, they had a job to do. You know, they'd have a strong name and they'd have a job to do. But now that's happening. People have pets more in Poland. Like, this is my dog, and I've seen cats on a lead in Krakow. People have cats on a lead. That wouldn't have happened 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
People would have just been like, what the hell's that? But in England, personifying animals, putting clothes on them, they go on the sofa, they sleep in the bed with the animal. It's very normal.
So in Poland, not yet, maybe.
No, not yet, but maybe it'll catch up.
Yep.
So I'll start with another one because we do it like this.
Okay, next one. You will start.
Yeah,
Okay,
because we passed the flame.
Yep.
So, pub gardens. Pub gardens. This will be a new concept for you.
Pub gardens?
Pub. So like tavern or drinking places, pubs. And the gardens within the pub. So you would say it's a beer garden. And a beer garden means it's like a small area, probably the size of this room, 30, 40 metres. And there's some tables and you drink in the beer garden. And they're very popular in summer in Britain. Just like Poland, we don't get much of a summer. It's not very hot in England. So when it is sunny, people like to go out and have a drink. So they go in the beer garden. And it's very popular in summer.
So in Poland, not too much.
Beer gardens.
Yeah, so from my side is mushroom picking.
Oh, yeah.
But it's mostly for the old people. I don't see that young people are going to the mushrooms. And it...
What's the name for a mushroom in Poland?
Grzyby.
Grzyby. And what else can you call them? Pieczarki?
Pieczarki is like kind of...
The group of mushrooms, so there's the whole...
No, it's one of the type of the mushroom.
Okay.
But it is the most popular.
The little white ones?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do people do this mushroom picking? So it's a new concept.
Yeah, so normally mostly old people are going to some random forest. They are taking the...
Did they have any special tools?
Yeah, knife and I forgot wood.
Like a brush.
Wood box, something
like a picnic bag. But it's got holes in and it's wood.
Yeah.
A basket.
Yeah.
You call it a wooden basket.
Wooden basket, yeah, exactly. And that's the typical.
And what do they do? Just walk around the forest?
They walk around the forest
with a knife.
With a knife, and they kill people.
The hills have eyes, and they cut the mushrooms, clean them a little bit, because I think they have a special tool, don't they? Like, it's a knife, and then on the other side it's a brush. They have a special mushroom picking tool. I'm sure they have seen this in the shop.
So I didn't.
So it's a special kind of curve to the knife, so they can do the mushroom, and then they can clean the mushroom a little bit, and then they put it in
maybe.
a pack.
But when I was a child,
long time ago, he's very old. He's Bart. He's very old. That's why he's got a beard. He's very old man.
I'm a man already.
He's a man actually. He's only 15, but he's got
only 15. Yeah. I was with my grandma and
grandparents, grandmother,
and she was just basic knife.
Yeah.
And maybe now people have like with special shape because everything now
needs something special.
Yeah,
exactly.
Special. But in these days, only just knife and that was it.
Okay. Have you got any others?
Any others? Have you?
Do you want me to do one?
I can.
Okay. I've got more.
So celebrating New Year, but I think that it is in every...
I think that's universal. I think it will be called Sylvester in Poland, Nowy Rok and Sylvester.
Exactly.
And in English that will be New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So
but people are taking care of it. They are buying fireworks. They are preparing especially for this day. It's like
that's true.
Really special day in the year.
That's true. Also, I wanted to name some of the random ones. So we've talked about pub gardens, we've talked about afternoon tea. I want to just go back to that. It's like tea drinking. British people love to drink tea. So you go inside somebody's house, most of the time someone will say to you, would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a brew? And that means...
they have like 500 types of the tea.
But normally it's just different brands, but it's like black tea. But how do we drink our tea in England, which is a little bit different to you? And we're well known for this.
But regarding the tea...
But what do we add? What do we add to our tea? So if I went to your mother's house and she said, Adam, would you like a tea? How would she make this tea for me? She'd give me some black tea, whether it's loose tea or in a bag. She'd put it in a cup with some hot water and that'd be it, yeah?
Yes, a little bit sugar maybe.
But what would she not add in there which a British person would like?
Milk?
Milk.
I heard about milk, yeah.
Yeah, they add
milk. I had never tried it. That sounds weird for me.
Yeah, so milky tea. We like milky tea. And sometimes people like more milk than tea. So it's actually just milky water with a bit of tea. You call it a milky brew. And it's almost like white chocolate. And you think, it's just hot milk this. But there's a little bit of tea there. And sometimes you would say the measure of a person, the measure of a man or the measure of a person would be how they make a tea in Britain. So like, if you want to test somebody's ability in life, you say, yeah, make me a brew. And then depending on what they give you, what rubbish they give you in a cup, you can judge them on this. So if it's a strong tea, you know they're a strong person. If it's a milky brew, you don't want to do business with this person. So that's like what you call it. So we have different. So like you could say, yeah, the meeting went really well. The meeting went really well. He wasn't right good at making brews though. That's what you would say.
He's not a good person.
He's not. I don't trust this guy. Like the brewing game was weak. His investment game was strong, but the brewing game was weak. So I'll do one more. More. This is a random one again, and it relates more to old people. So you could maybe contrast this with an old person one. Carpets in bathrooms. So I don't know. I've never seen it much in Poland. So when you go to the toilet, whether you sit down to use the toilet or stand up, depends on which sex you are, I would say, or what position you're in. But so when you want to use the toilet, we don't want to talk about what happens at the toilet, but when you want to use the toilet, sometimes there's a small carpet that goes around the toilet base. Have you seen those?
Yes, sometimes.
And sometimes we have one of the same carpets what go around the sink, the bottom of the sink. Then we have one that runs alongside the bath. So there's carpets in bathrooms. My grandmother used to do that back in the UK. I've not seen it so much now, but it is a Britishy thing, I think, putting carpets in bathrooms.
Yeah, in Poland it's not popular.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because like you have a bath
Everything
mat.
can be wet.
Yeah, and you have a bath mat. I get this. You have a bath mat. You get out because it's comfortable for your feet if you want this. But a carpet in a bathroom, it's like, it is a bit weird. And I never used to think about it as a kid. But what about is there anything that old people do, or that older generation, you would say? Quirky things that old people do?
I don't imagine anything.
Just bringing it back to the pets briefly. My auntie is 91, 92 years old in Poland. She's the last remaining relative I have of the true Polish side of my family. She used to have a dog, and she used to have this black dog called Karinka. It was called Karinka. And it was like a small black chihuahua, really aggressive. It was almost like a pit bull, but the size of a chihuahua. It did no damage at all when it bit you, but it was trying its best to rip your finger off, like Jaws. A very aggressive, horrible dog. I'm happy it's not here anymore. But anyway, when she used to come back to her house, she had a small carpet. This is just random. A small carpet she'd put outside the front door of her flat. She'd make the dog stand on the carpet, and then she'd count 1, 2, 3, 4. She'd count, and she'd clean each one of its paws, and the dog would know which paw, even the back paws, to give her to clean. But she'd do it on this carpet. Then she'd comb the carpet, and then she'd have a special place for the carpet. Is that just something strange my auntie used to do, or is that...
probably.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. So she did this with it, and everybody would just watch, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what the fuck's going on? And this dog would just be like, just stood there going through the process. It would not. Then it would get a biscuit, and then it was allowed in the house. So she had a cleaning carpet for the dog's feet. So she personified that pet many years ago. She was with the British Standard many years ago.
Yeah, I would say that old people in Poland will feed you anytime. They have...
Yeah, they're very hospitable.
Yeah.
They love to feed you. Do you want some more cake? Do you want some more?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
if you eat one portion, they will give you the second one.
Oh, I've learned that at weddings.
Yeah.
So I go to the wedding and you think, oh, if you ever get a chance to go to a Polish wedding, please go, because you will leave there so full. You'll gain 5 kilo, no problem. So you have the meal and then you think, I'm actually really hungry. It's been a long day. I'm happy now. The food's coming. There's been so much alcohol. I'm actually hungry. So you're eating the food. Then another dish comes. So you finish that. Maybe it's a second course. There's like 10 courses. So the whole point is, don't finish your plate, because if you finish it, they give you even more. Oh, I've never experienced this.
Yeah, and full tables are of food also.
Vodka and food. But but the food, and then there's a buffet. Then they have the set meal. Then they bring food out at 2 a.m. again. It's like food central. Yeah. So hospitable.
I have one regarding the weddings, so I can mention it right now. In weddings, people are dropping money.
Yeah.
When the
bride and groom,
the
man and woman, the bride and groom, they've just been married.
Yeah, they just been married, and they just go out from the church. People are dropping the money,
the groches, or the zlotys. It depends on which family they come from. But yeah, it's the throw money. I've done that once. I mentioned that to you before, but I found it strange how you throw the money at the feet. But maybe it's a thing that people do. It's just I've never seen it before. Okay. Right, Bart.
I will jump to the next one because I have also
okay.
5. We need to go through it quickly. So, watching Polish football is the habit of early Polish people. They are love watching football and they are love complaining.
They're complaining about the referee.
Polish group is not playing really well.
Okay.
And people are hoping every time that this time they can win. They will
title or some cup.
Yeah, but at the end we are losing.
I've noticed as well a lot of Polish people who are heavily into football. There's a big culture around football. There's quite a negative culture around football. We're not going to talk about that, but there's also a big positive around it. And it's quite a family orientated day when there's football, especially World Cup and things. It's super big.
Yeah.
But what they like to watch, well, I've noticed a lot of Polish people, is a Spanish football league. They love the Spanish football league.
Exactly.
And they really follow that. Equally the same as the Polish football league. It's like a strange connection.
I would say that Polish less than
Spanish. They love the Spanish league, don't they? Last couple of things is tutting. Do you know what tutting is? When someone goes...
Tutting?
That's a tut.
I'm doing it.
Well, tutting is universal, but especially with British people, they love to complain like that, but they love to tut. They go, and that means like they're not happy with something, but they're too polite to say anything, but they'll just tut. And if you said, I'm sorry, what was that? Or something, they will say, oh, nothing, thank you, and have a nice day. So people try not to complain, but they can't help it, but they don't want to really complain, so they go halfway and they go.
I'm doing tutting. I assume it when I watch one of the podcasts which we recorded.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it unconsciously, like a comma in the sentence.
It's like unconscious, complaining, you would say. Right, Bart. As always, I've got some random things I want to test.
Last one. Let me.
It's the last one there.
Yeah,
it has to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a couple more, but have no time for it.
Okay.
So, clapping in the cinemas or when the plane is landing. That's really popular in Poland already. And when
everybody turns into a seal at the zoo.
We need to clap a little bit.
Like, are you a seal? What's wrong with you?
That's really funny in Poland.
Everyone turns into a seal.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Okay. This is Bart's random time. I was giving some random idioms or some colloquial English that I test him on. And it's good because we all learn something. So if I said to you, what's biting the bullet? If someone has to bite the bullet or you have to bite the bullet.
Bullet is like when you are shooting, yeah? Okay. Bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet.
Means that you are really fast or something like this?
It could be related to doing something fast.
Or
if I said to you, I'm going to fire...
Or do you like risk?
No. So if I said I'm going to fire a gun at you, I wouldn't do this, by the way. I like you to. I'll fire a water pistol at you, but a gun. If I fire a real gun at you and I fire a bullet at you, do you think it's easy to catch the bullet between your teeth?
I don't think so.
It's going to be very difficult, if at all possible, and you'd have many trips to the dentist and you'd be dead many times. But
if you have teeth,
you have to catch the bullet in the teeth. It's very difficult. So you have something very difficult about to happen. Okay. So it means that some things you're going to have to bite the bullet. So it's something that's uncomfortable, very difficult, something that you don't really want to do. You don't know if it's possible, but you have to approach it and try it anyway. So you're going to have to bite the bullet. It means like, I love the new house that I've got, but I don't like the mortgage, but I'm on a fixed rate, but I'm going to have to bite the bullet and pay it for the next 30 years. So you're biting the bullet because it's part of the bigger picture, because you know it's going to provide you with a nice life. So when you bite the bullet, you're doing something that you don't really want to do, and it's like going to be hard work.
Okay, got it.
Also, if I said to you, oh, he looks like a healthy guy, he's as fit as a fiddle. So when somebody or something is as fit as a fiddle.
What is fiddle? What fiddle means?
A musical instrument. So a fiddle is like a small musical ding-a-ding-ding musical instrument.
He fits like a fiddle.
He's as fit as a fiddle.
Sweet. So means in good shape, because it's the shape of the small guitar is...
Well, when you play a fiddle, when you play the fiddle, you have to play it very tightly and very constrictedly.
Gently.
And not gently, you have to play it at some really fast pace, and you have to be quite physical.
A lot of energy.
Yeah, it's like something super energy. And the strings are so tight on it, and it makes such a pronounced sound. And you have to be really like on your A game to play this so it sounds nice. And you have to be quite animated and you feel the music. So when you're as fit as a fiddle, you can operate so fast like a machine. Like you're as fit as a fiddle, basically. So you're as fit as this instrument. They're trying to compare you to the speed of the instrument. Okay. Last one. Well, there's two, but if you are stuck or trapped, it's the same thing, between, so in the middle of, between a rock and a hard place.
A hard place?
I would say to you, I am between a rock and a hard place. What do I mean by that?
What is hard place?
It's a hard place.
Hard place is just hard place.
It's a bad hard place. Yeah, it's a bad hard place. They don't tell you what it is. It's just a hard place.
Okay, just hard place. So I'm stuck between.
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
So you are in bad situation in general.
You're in a bad situation in general. Exactly. In general, like you don't want to go to the rock. So imagine you're trapped in. So let's say you're trapped in the ocean in a storm. You're trapped in the ocean. You've fallen out of your plane. Your Ryanair just decided to drop you off in the middle of the ocean. You jump out of the plane. You land in the ocean. You're going around in the waves. You're about to die and drown. You have a rock which is full of spikes and sea urchins that you can crawl on. Or you can go to the hard place and climb the cliffs and maybe fall again. But you're stuck between the rock and the hard place. So either direction is a rubbish direction, and you're even stuck in a rubbish place at the moment. So you can use that in business, you can use it in life, you can use it in your outlook in things. Well, to be honest, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I've just lost my job. Do I feed my children or do I pay my bills? I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's actually quite a rubbish place to be, but it's stuck between a rock and a hard place. The last one, this is another one. So when something or somebody adds insult to injury.
Insult?
An insult, and they add an insult, whether it's what they say or the behaviour, to, on top of, an injury. So you add insult to injury. What do you think that means?
No idea.
So if we deconstruct it, when you take it back, if you get injured, is it good or bad?
Bad.
Bad most of the time, unless you want to be injured. That's
a
different kind of podcast, that's a different kind of club.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk about that. But if you add insult to injury, it means like you're already injured, you're already in a bad, not a good place, not a hard place, but a bad place, whether it's physically or emotionally. So if something adds insult to injury, it's like, I've just crashed my car. You just crashed your car on the way home and you damage it. You were going too fast with your music on and you crashed it. you'd be really annoyed because you love your car and you look after it. But to add insult to injury, when the police came to help you and tidy the road and put your car on a recovery truck, they realised that you hadn't paid your insurance for the last year.
Okay, got it.
So it's added insult to the injury. It's
So
like,
you are
oh
in a
no,
bad
how did
situation
I...
and something
just happened to make it worse. Yeah, so like it's not bad enough that you crash your car. You have to now pay for everything that you've damaged because you have no insurance. You're like, oh no. So it adds insult to injury. That's what you would say. So it's almost like the straw that broke the camel's back. It just finishes it off, which is a nice place to finish the podcast off, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
So thank you for today, and check the description. There is a links to the Adam school. Adam is an English teacher. He has a couple free slots. So if you want to improve your English skills, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I offer lots of different English classes from elementary level all the way through to exam preparation, networking events, confidence when travelling abroad. There's lots of different workshops that I can offer. It's all via my website. There's ways to pay on there. There's free lessons for beginners. Lots of things.
So check this out, and yeah, we will see you in the next podcast.
We'll see you in the next podcast. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.